Welcome to Withdraw Consent. I'm Victor. He's Jack. So we talk a lot on this channel about overthrowing the system and that type of thing. So today we're going to have a little discussion about are there certain ideologies that people believe and follow that have an advantage when it comes to overthrowing the system or replacing it?
Okay. This is a very advanced video, and you're going to be able to tell because there's going to be so many different links to previous videos we've done. And so I encourage you, if you're like, these guys are idiots on this video over a particular topic that I've referenced, maybe you just don't understand the earlier video. And if you go to the earlier video and you find out that we are idiots, just leave some comments and explain why we are idiots. But go look at the back one and see. So basically, I want you to just think about whatever your favorite political ideology is and think, can it overthrow the system in the United States of America today in summer 2023?
Okay.
What do you think? Let's talk about some, okay? Because we're going to start running out real fast, right?
Okay.
We made a video. Is libertarianism the solution? Do you think that libertarianism can reach out from your don't tread on me flag?
Not libertarianism.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Do nothing.
Reach out, right? Do nothing. And it's kind of I'm making fun, but I don't mean to because libertarianism is beautiful. If you watch that video, I love libertarianism. I was a libertarian for years. You were a libertarian 100%. For years. But at one point, you got to realize that you've got to step out and be willing to be an authoritarian.
Right.
Because they're being an authoritarian over you at your disinterest. If you love your people and you want to see the system be overthrown, some amount of authoritarianism must be necessary in the best interest of the people.
Right.
What we have now is authoritarianism at the worst interest of the people.
Yes.
It's great interest of Ukraine or gender studies.
No, it's not in the benefit of Ukraine.
Afghanistan. Okay,
it's the leaders of Ukraine.
It's really not because they're getting slaughtered over there. Yeah. Anyways. In the best interest of the defense contractors then. You know what I mean?
Right.
So basically, go watch that video if you don't believe me. But libertarianism is not going to overthrow the system. Do you think anybody could make an argument to me? Do you think it's possible? Am I straw manning this?
No, I really don't think so. As you were saying that, like libertarianism is ultimately a selfish thing. I just want to do me. And you ultimately don't care about other people because you're not willing to stand up next to them or in front of them. And
yourself could include your family unit. It could include your extended family unit. But does it include your entire community?
Right.
Does it include your entire state?
Because you would believe then that, well, this isn't libertarianism because I am now trying to influence them.
Right.
And that goes against one of the core beliefs that, it can't overthrow anything.
Right. Okay, let's go conservatism.
Okay.
Conservatism can't overthrow this system and make it better. Can't fix the FBI. Am I straw man in this one? What do you think?
See, my programming for my whole life wants to say, yeah, we can do it. But it's just...
we could do a war in the Middle East. Conservatism.
Right.
We could do that.
Yeah. It's...
we could do Operation Warp Speed.
There you go.
Okay.
Help the people. Yeah, I just don't see... just the act of conserving, it's about, if you're conserving energy or that type of thing. No, you have to exert energy and push.
Let me say, if there was libertarians in power, we could make things somewhat better.
Okay.
If there were all conservatives in power, maybe we could make some things better. We might be blocked by Mitch McConnell and McCarthy and not be able to make things, but we may be able to make some things better.
But are you talking like better like it was during Trump or just immediately erased after 4 years?
I'm talking about, temporarily they could make things somewhat, it could start moving this way. But you can't overturn the system these ways. And the FBI is never going to give up their power until they're rooted out. The CIA is not going to give their power. The NSA, all these, the FDA, the pharmaceutical companies, the defense contractors, they're not going to give up. They'll do little concessions because those will be wiped away in 4, 8, 12, 16. They'll be wiped away. I don't know when, but they'll be wiped away and it'll be back to the good old boys. So you could say, hey, but we just got to stop the bleeding. Okay, well, vote harder and try to stop the bleeding now. I'm not disrespecting you for that. I don't like bleeding myself personally. Okay. And then another part of me is like, just accelerate. Just full on accelerationism,
Yeah.
Vote communists, you know what I mean? And then just accelerate it, and either the people will wake up or they won't, but I want to give them as long a time as I can to wake up. So anyways, you could say, Is classical liberalism the solution?
Yeah, you'd have to define what classical liberalism is.
Classical liberalism is oh man, whatever I say, I'm going to get crucified for this. I'm going to say it's a Bill Clinton-esque type of Democrat or a Trump-esque type of Republican. I'm going to say.
Okay.
Because, like, Trump's not a conservative.
Right.
He's a classical liberal. He's an old school Democrat. Democrats today are not classical liberals.
No.
But you listen to Bill Clinton and he's talking about we got to strengthen our border security. We got to do this and that. We got to not let these illegal immigrants in because the problem is they're depressing wages and we need to keep do you know what I'm saying? He did a great speech one time. That's classical liberalism.
Gotcha.
And classical liberalism is beautiful. Well, so is conservatism. If it's real conservatism, not neocons starting war and stuff. And libertarianism is beautiful too. But classical liberalism can't overthrow the system. They push things like free speech and they got lots of good policies that they push. But they're not going to be able to stop the FBI, the CIA. You know what I'm saying? You may be saying, well, what can then? What can, you idiot? You're saying nothing can stop them. I'll tell you what can stop them. Communism. Communism can capture all these agencies. I'm going to link you to a video about agency capture, right? And communism can get it done. Communism is getting it done right now. Communism is advancing on every front, and it is sometimes valiant people are standing in the gap and slowing the rise of communism, but communism is in ascendance right now.
100%.
And even if you slow it, even if you push it down a little bit, it's just going to come up even, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's being taught in the schools, it's captured school unions, and it's on the rise. Communism can completely capture and change this entire country. So like when you think about that argument, think about could classical liberalism, could conservatism, could progressivism? No, progressivism can change it in accordance with some of the desires of the communists and advance their, do you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because like in this government that we have now, this terrible corrupt system that has to go, I don't want to give them an inch of power, right?
Okay.
Because everything's trash. A progressive say, oh, but you've got to help the homeless. Let's start this huge program. You know what I mean? You have to. And they're right. You should be helping the homeless veterans with mental illnesses. You should be, and you're not, right?
Okay.
But also we can't give more power to the system that's oppressing us. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you're at a quandary here. You know what I mean? You're at a, you know what I mean?
Right.
They're like a catch-22. And it's like, if you give it to them, they're going to use that power to tyrannize over you.
Yes.
You know? Now, if you said, hey, well, just combat corruption in the veterans. Okay. Yeah, okay. I'm down with that, as a temporary solution. Anyways, if you do nothing at this point, communism will win in this country.
Yes.
It won't be Stalinism. It won't be Maoism, It won't be pure Karl Marx, It'll be communism, though, and it'll be called American communism, or we'll just say it'll probably be called American socialism. It'll be called.
Yeah.
And so there's that. You could also sit around, do nothing, and it just might always be this corrupt. Your kids might, one of your grandkids might come out trans, another one non-binary. It could just be this is what it is now. Your bloodline just ceases to exist, or whatever. My argument is this. Actually, it's your argument.
Okay.
Comes from a video we just did, and he had this brilliant idea. I'm gonna let you pitch it, but I'm gonna pitch the video. The video is called "What Does the System Fear?"
Okay.
Do you want to pitch that idea that blew my mind?
Yeah. The idea was that as you view the news, social media, that type of thing, you can see what the people in charge are afraid of based on the importance of the insults that they give you. So what is the worst thing that they can call you? And it's a fascist or a Nazi. So if you're just thinking, well, if the bad guys hate Nazis, then is that the good guy? Is that the thing that would poison them to kill them? Kill the system.
Right. Destroy the system.
Yeah. So that was my pitch.
Right. And then That may be a foreign concept to you, or you may already know about that concept. When he pitched that idea, I sat there thinking about it for a week, and I came up with the idea for this video, which is just based on that fundamental idea. And I was thinking about what are the ideologies that could overturn the system. And there is only two. Either it stays the same, which is not one of the two. Obviously, it stays the same. The other one is communism, which is inevitable at this point, or there is a hard stop and the pendulum starts wishing back the other way.
Fast.
And, yeah, fast. And it is National Socialism. You know, it's up to you. Like, National Socialism sounds terrible, right? Let's promote families. Let's promote having children. Let's promote two-parent homes. Let's zero interest home loans. There's all different ways it can be done. But like in Hungary today, you have your fourth child with the same woman and you're still married. You pay no taxes for the rest of your life. I don't know how they do taxes, but no taxes to the government, the Hungarian government. You might have local taxes.
Sure.
Probably, like a sales tax, but you're not getting income
federal.
tax. Yeah. For the rest of your life. I think when you have your third kid, you get a car,
Oh, okay.
But in National Socialist Germany of the past, in the 30s, you would, when you got married, you would get a free home. You would get a home. They would charge you for it on a zero interest loan, but each time you had a child, it knocked out a quarter of that loan.
Well, the principal. Yeah.
So eventually, if you're going to have 4 kids, you get a free home. If not, they build you a brand new home and you get a zero interest loan. And if you want to know what that looks like, that means you would be paying the same mortgage you're paying now and you would get over double the home. Or you would have the same home you got right now and you would have half the mortgage.
Half the payment. Yeah.
Yeah, half the payment. That's what zero interest home loans would look like. Anyways.
But I just got to stop you real quick. So you said right now we're on track for American socialism, but now you're pitching National Socialism,
Okay.
Right. I feel like there's the same words. Like, why is this different? Like at a high level, just real quick.
Okay, I'm going to explain that to you, but I'm also going to reference our video, What is National Socialism, where we break it down thoroughly. And in any of these points, if you just don't like it and you say you're trash, just go look at the previous video and see if we are. Then go to that video or this video, put negative comments, specifically why.
Yeah.
Not just
liberal
your
ass hat.
Yeah, liberal ass hat. That's our running joke. Okay, so basically, it's like this. In National Socialist Germany, so it's very difficult to explain, but I'm gonna go into it a little bit. But it's basically an ethno-nationalist.
Okay.
So it's very nationalistic and it's within a homogenous racial group, whatever that group is. You could be,
this isn't just white people.
You could be all Nigerians. It doesn't. You could be all Yemen people. Yemenis. I don't know what the right word is. Anyways, it just doesn't matter. But it's one group, so there's no out group. So then once you bring in socialism, there's no out-group to abuse the situation. If there's no out-group to abuse the situation, then the people on top who are paying into the socialism say, it's pretty cool. I like to help out, homeless veterans. Right now you go, do you want to help out homeless veterans? And you're like, money's just going to go to those drug addicts on the corner begging for money. You know what I'm saying? Right. So you don't want to help. But imagine if you remove the out-groups and you say, well, we're just all working together for the greater interest of the whole. It's much easier to do. And then when you look at the cooperation between the corporations and the government, which creates fascism, it was like this. It wasn't fascism because the government was forcing basically the corporations at gunpoint to do what's in the best interest of their people. And if they didn't, then they could nationalize the corporations legally. But they didn't nationalize the corporations. They just forced the corporations to do good things. Like, for example, in Italy, there's a woman who's, I think, prime minister, and she's basically just a Nazi, basically. And she made June is now Family Pride Week, And it's for heterosexual couples who have children or don't have children if you can't, Or even, you're just old and, it's now the month's for you because these are the things they're promoting. And in a National Socialist country, the highest spending in all of National Socialist German history, which is 12 years, was 7% of the entire national budget on social programs.
Okay.
7%.
You know what it is here?
I do not know off the top of my head, but it's high, but they achieved things that other countries couldn't possibly imagine doing in a socialistic manner. And they did that through their forced cooperation with corporations. But it's like this. If a corporation is thinking, hey, I want to indoctrinate your kid and I want your kid to go through gender, whatever, surgery, right? Your child, your 9-year-old, your 11, 14-year-old, right? Would it be bad if a government stepped in and said, do you want to be nationalized? No. I'm families. Families. I promote families, right? Would that be the worst thing that happened? You're like, oh, but that's authoritarianism. Authoritarianism is not wrong in and of itself. It's like if you had different kings, what is the objective of the king? If the objective of the king is the best interest of the people, then you've got a great thing going.
He's a benevolent leader.
Right. And I'm not saying go back to kings. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is that the communists have the corporations reined in right now. In order to get to a positive situation, a government with some authoritarian leaning needs to put a gun to the corporation's head and say, you're doing what's in the best interest of these people. We're not starting a suicide prevention hotline for LGBTQ youth. We're stop propagandizing the youth with the LGBTQ nonsense. Then we have to go create the hotline because so many of them are trying to kill themselves and we don't want them to kill themselves. But that's where we're at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it is socialism to a degree, but it's not like this other one.
And so how, just real quick, American socialism is not in the best interest of the people?
Well, look at what it's doing.
Okay.
It's promoting transgender surgeries on your children. That's what it's promoting. It's promoting like BLM, which is completely captured. Don't blame black people. Don't think that black lives do not matter. But BLM was completely captured. And one of their things was ending the nuclear family. That was one of their bullet points. That means you're totally captured by communists. Because if I want to know if you're a good person or a bad person, give me your bullet points.
Yeah.
What are you about? Ending the nuclear family? It's suicide for a nation, suicide for culture, suicide for civilization, and allows the state to completely tyrannize over you, right? Now I'm going to put a link in the description. Go to Hitler's 25 points and see what he was about.
Yes.
Just read them and be like, oh, could we do this one?
Yeah, I gotta just interject. The first time I read that, it was real early on and trying to learn about World War II and all that. It blew my mind because you've never heard any of this stuff.
Right.
And even at that time when I was there was still stuff that I was trying to, figure out how to get over, First Amendment stuff and whatever. I still agreed with probably 20 or 22 of those 25 points just right off the bat.
Right.
I was like, wow, this would make an amazing country, just those ones that I agreed with.
Right.
If we could do those things.
Link in the description. And one of them that when you read that we were just discussing, which you may not understand, it's nationalization of trust. We demand the ability to nationalize trust, which means that the government can take over the corporations. But then why do they want to do that? Look at the result. Did they take over the corporations?
They don't actually want to take over.
They don't actually. They want the ability to, because when they come into power without the ability to take over the corporations can implement communism and undermine the entire national socialist.
They don't answer to anyone. Yeah.
Right. So you want to have that power over, and it's like, do the right thing. And it's like, okay, we'll do the right thing until you get out of power. Cool. As long as we keep this a national socialist country, communism is not going to come in through corporations. There's a lot of entry points for communism, and corporations are one of them, And so so to answer your question, just look at like American socialism or communism and look at what their goals are, what are their effects on society. They're all battling against the family. They're all battling against tradition.
And have been for decades.
And what do National Socialists want? They want all families. They want you to have children. They want you to be successful. They don't want the bankers, whatever you call those, what the other word for that, to charge you interest on everything. They want you to be happy and successful. There is a path for incredible success. If there was not one group of people who's ruling over you in every aspect of your life, in banking and Hollywood and media and all these things, there is a path that you could be phenomenally happy. And it did happen in Germany. And Lloyd George set up a link in the description to that article. Amazing quote. But at the end of the quote, he said, these are the happiest people, the Germans of this time period, that I've ever seen in my life. But the whole quote's outstanding.
Yes.
I'll find it. I'll put it in there. Anyways, so you're looking at their goals. And this type of stuff that I'm saying is when I have no intent to kill myself, when I don't show up to the show because I'm dead. The reason why is because these ideas right now are the thing that the system is afraid of the most. Yes. If this doesn't happen, they get their American socialism, communism, or things just stay the same. Say there's enough pressure by conservatives to always keep it static where it is right now. Just some of your kids transition. Just some of your kids non-binary, They can keep it like that, then that's it forever. Or it's communism, unless we stand up and do this. We did an episode recently, right? We just filmed it today, right? And it's on the Nazi book burning, and I'm just going to link it in the description, but I'm going to spoil it now. The Nazis burned 25,000 books with pornography, child pornography, communism, all this leftist trash. You know what I'm saying? And after the war, the Allies burned millions of books in secret from Germany, 30,000 different titles, which is more different titles than the entire amount of books that the Germans burned. And they're burning stuff about poetry, about education. So they're burning all the family and tradition stuff.
Right.
Because that's who won World War II. The people who want to destroy but nah, it was the U.S. back then. It was, yeah, I mean, we were working at the behest of communist Soviet Union. You know what I'm saying? Okay, well, if you do a deep dive, you'll find out that the same super factory blueprint in Indiana was also done in Russia during the Cold War. So there's a lot going on that we don't know about there, where there was a lot of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyways, that's a whole different topic, though. But I'm just saying, I'm just trying to promote you to look down. What I'm saying wrong? Is this ideology a true threat to the system? Do you like families? Do you hate, my kids are homeschooled because I can't let them get my kids.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? My kids are the most important thing in my life. You know, well, I mean, there's macro things that are very important.
Sure.
But when it comes down to it, it's my children. I'm absolutely responsible for them, you know? And so that's what I got. What do you think? I've been rambling over here.
No, you totally have, but that's fine. It's all good stuff. Just as far as the whole thing about, is it a threat? It's been tried one time, and they mobilized the entire world to come crush it.
Right.
That's how afraid they are of it.
Right.
So...
yeah, entire U.S. did not want. We were all non-interventionists. There was an massive anti-war movement.
Same with England, right? Didn't they not want to get into the people?
Oh, there was massive anti-war protests. I don't know how prevalent they were, though. I'm not really sure.
Gotcha.
But then surprise, Pearl Harbor. Nobody knew they were coming. Nobody warned the American people. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, that's a whole nother video.
Right.
But you might even know about that one.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So what are your thoughts on this? I know we went over a huge amount of stuff. A lot of this channel is we're almost building a case for you, and it can't be done in one video. There's just the breadth of how much information, historical stuff, current stuff, ideologies, all this stuff. And this is kind of one of those videos where we're kind of bringing together a lot of different things. So like Jack said, please look at the other videos if you don't agree with us, and try to, even if you don't agree with us, like try to take a step back and put yourself in our shoes from our perspective and try to really think it through and give it a fair chance. It's taken a lifetime for me to get here. And it's a tough thing because you've been programmed so well, masterfully over your whole life. And, but give a different thought a chance in your head. And, it's just amazing if you can get there. Anyway, give it a shot. We release new content every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. Come back if we're challenging you. Check out the other videos. Maybe you'll get challenged more. Maybe you'll have other ideas. We're open for ideas about this. Tell us whether they're stupid. If you have ideas about other videos that you want us to cover, we're definitely open for all that type of thing. And hopefully you'll join us again.